Every company, big or small, runs on software. Whether you're building software or buying it, Pendo is software that makes your software better. Using analytics to understand behavior across your apps, your team can easily identify how users are interacting with your product so you can provide the best experience possible. Pendo also helps you use this quantitative data along with collected qualitative data to help you understand how your users feel so you can deliver the best product for your customers. Comprehensive data collected through analytics can be used to create personalized in-app guides that can lead users through your software, assisting greater adoption of the product and provide a more intuitive user experience. With robust segmentation, Pendo helps you understand individual behavior so you can deliver communication in context to specific groups of users. Hearing directly from users about their experience provides deep insight into what works and what doesn't. With feedback, you can centralize all user requests and prioritize them so that your developers are focused on building the best version of your product. Pendo is the only complete product platform that combines feedback, targeted in-app guides, and analytics so you can identify and address pain points in the user journey to ensure greater engagement. Whether your users are customers or employees, the power of Pendo is available across web and mobile applications without the need for engineering. Pendo, software that makes your software better.
Welcome back to the Product-Led Festival. Before we get going with the next helping of inspiring content, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for helping us bring this event to your screens. And don't forget you can access even more content from exclusive articles and interviews to all past and future events on demand, as well as templates and frameworks by becoming a PLA member. Head over to productledalliance.com for more info. Enjoy the next session.
Hey everyone, my name is Christine Ituaro and I'm the Head of Product Operations here at Pendo. Today I'm going to be talking to you about leveraging data to build a great product. So we'll start with a story, and we like to talk about products that have leaned into data and have not leaned into data. And here's a good example of one. There are products that generate a lot of buzz, but ultimately end up failing because very few people have actually used or bought them. These products sometimes declare victory prematurely or on sort of anecdotal evidence, kind of more, hey, like this is a big name and let's see how this is going to work out. I bet it's going to be great. This product in particular was a super expensive bet. I think it was somewhere around $895-ish million worth of investment before they realized it wasn't going to bring much value, keyword value, to customers. These are the wrong measures of a successful product. You need to be able to measure what you value, and you have to measure that value that the product actually delivers. You also need to make sure you have a true problem defined, like a real problem that you're solving for the customer, not just kind of putting something out there that, hey, this looks really cool and we believe that our customers are going to be super excited, just to kind of test this out. In this case, the product was actually not just a privacy or a security risk, it ended up posing some physical danger. And this was not the way to go about creating a delightful experience or bring value to customers. And so luckily, lots of us learn from those types of examples of what not to do from exactly those types of examples, and many others in the careers that we've built in product management. Today, with product management front and center in the technology space, we actually see this product-led movement and this idea of rallying around this as a path for success, rallying around the product itself. And it ends up being more about like creating an experience where most of or the only relationship that the customer has is with the product. That's the relationship they have with your brand, is actually through the product. That's an entire relationship almost without having ever to talk to anyone on the other side. So less human interaction at the end of the day. All parts of your business ends up being oriented towards making sure that the product experience is actually the best that it can be as well. And then in order to really pull something like this off, you have to integrate all functions within the company, all stakeholders and all functions within the product itself. So at the foundation of any successful product-led company is data. And I always say the data doesn't lie, and treat data like currency, right? It really is there for you to use and make sure that you're making really great decisions based off of. So I'm going to pivot to another story. This one is a more successful one that many of us know about. This is the case of Peloton. We're super familiar with this, particularly over the last couple of years as we watch them rise. When you talk about a company that really focuses on their why, I think Peloton is one of the best examples that comes to my mind, at least. They sought out to solve a problem, and they ended up solving a problem and bringing something magical to life. People think Peloton actually just started because of the rise during the pandemic, but it was actually born in 2012, so 10 years ago. This is not right before the pandemic. And their founder actually realized that he was enjoying instructor-led workouts and thought it would be interesting to allow people to actually do these in the comfort of their own homes. So with very early prototypes, they built a Kickstarter campaign and they set out to get buy-in and really test their idea. And they ended up modifying the bike only about a year later and opened up their first studio in New York City. This actually allowed their instructors to record and stream classes and really start to grab their audience a bit more and show more value out to the market at large. So as demand grew, their business grew and it started to peak, as we all know, during the pandemic. But they continuously worked to improve on their user experience, both with the physical units and with software, which is really awesome. I myself am a Peloton user. The experience with the app on my phone is really great, but the experience with the bike itself is awesome. And I know folks who also have their other products. And I think that that's the magic behind Peloton is they're driven by their mission of going far together. And that's the value that they're bringing to their customer as well, is building that community of people that actually are growing far and growing together in that journey. So Peloton started with the why. We always believe in starting with why. The challenge with metrics is that there are nearly infinite sets of possibilities to choose from. So you really need to start with a why. You have to have a point of view. Why does it make sense to invest the time and money in this particular problem? What do you hope to accomplish with the product? And really start to define why is it that you should be going after this? So we can start by defining this by 3 sets of goals: strategic, operational, and customer goals. So you can start by making a business case that answers the following 3 questions. Who is your target audience? Who are you out there to solve some pain for and bring some value to? What pain is it actually addressing? Is it a must-have in order to solve it, or is it just a nice-to-have? Is there an alternative? And what's the desired outcome? Are you looking to save costs for your business? This is, at the end of the day, looking at how it's going to impact you and your business as well. Are you looking to increase revenue? Or is this something that you're basically doing to mitigate any sort of risk? And one of the frameworks that we use is cost of delay. You can use a framework like SAFE or the 60-second business case as well that helps you sort of determine the economic impact of delaying the delivery time of a product investment. But cost of delay is one that I see product teams use a ton, just making sure that they have a pulse on, if they were to put this out a bit further, what is that actually going to do, right? What impact is that actually going to have? And also weight that against other things that they're looking at that's currently prioritized for them and figure out what the impact of delaying those things would be as well. So it's also important to have a really strong product point of view as you build your case. And we all know and love this man, Steve Jobs, always had a very strong point of view. But when it came to Apple, super strong point of view on product design and user experience for sure. In the early days of Pendo, we actually had made an unpopular decision at the time, that's what folks told us, to build a really broad product that provided both analytics and the ability to take action on the data. And folks were challenging us on that, and that's okay. I think, we truly believe that product teams need both capabilities. And we haven't changed that. We haven't changed that point of view. They need those capabilities and also more, which is how we ended up evolving our product. But the point is to have that really strong point of view on what your market actually needs and what your customer really needs and what is going to help solve not just a single pain at times, but some collective pain that helps them then get to an end result. You also need to understand what the customer needs and wants. And there are a few strategies that you can use to get really close to the customer. Jobs to be done is one that helps us understand the overall accomplishment or end goal that a customer is looking to achieve. Examples are like onboarding faster using a guide. On Pendo, we do that a ton, or connecting remote workers on Zoom when you think about today, right? Getting people together and making sure that they're collaborating and doing their jobs really well and efficiently. Especially as we've now moved into this hybrid world. How are we looking at making sure people are operating both within offices and those that are still at home? And collaborating on or aligning on plans in something like Miro, another way to drive efficiency for your internal teams. This framework helps us understand the behavior behind a decision. So why are people doing this and what are they doing it for? Empathy maps is another method, and it puts you a bit closer to the customer and gets you inside their mind a little bit. And gets you inside their environment in a way that kind of helps you understand how they're operating and thinking in order to get to their end goal. And we've all seen this one this is the Amazon press release, which we really like to use a bit here as well. Working backwards. So this actually helps you focus on the why. It's not just helping you focus on the why and kind of like unravel everything that'll help you get there, but it actually rallies people around this idea and gets teams excited about getting to that end state and helps you break down further what it's going to take from multiple parties to help you achieve that end goal. So these are just some of the frameworks that we recommend and that we've used to help us get close to our customer. Now, once you set your goals, you have to figure out how to track progress towards them. And in product, we're either being measured or we're measuring. And that's something really important to keep in the back of your mind. As you push value out, you need to measure that. And you are also being measured on the success of what you've just done. What value is it actually bringing to your market and to your customer base? So once you have this business case and some goals, you need a way to measure how you're doing. And these are some of the KPIs that you may report to company leadership related to your product. So things like product adoption, usage, retention, revenue, impact on NPS, or what you've done as a result of NPS scores. These are all things that we've seen people use as guardrails. And so if you go outside the rails, you know you need to change something up a bit. In the past, teams may have measured features shipped, and now the best measures are some of the things that you're seeing here. So not just the number of features shipped, inclusive of the quality of those features shipped, but really looking deeply at how well used they are, how deeply used they are from your customer base, and looking at some of the metrics that I'm showing you here. And the other thing that's been really interesting to watch is the shift in product teams and what they are using for measurement all around. And we talk about this concept of the idea that product management is now really front and center in the tech space is one of the most booming career paths for someone to take. And it's absolutely true. It's evolved over the last century almost. And we've been seen as folks who are, a bit of marketing, a bit of sales, a bit of building product and experience, and now moving into the people who have their CPO who have a seat at the table and they're driving bottom line and setting company goals. And so what ends up happening there is as your CPO is sitting at that table, you then become accountable for helping to get to those goals. So today it takes a ton of courage for product teams to really hold themselves accountable for these true business metrics that people are putting in front of them. And this is what is expected of us today in more modern product organizations. We earn influence and authority in shaping the direction of a company when we're able to tie our business metrics like revenue or customer acquisition costs or win rate, profitability, back to the work that we're doing. And those things are sort of lagging indicators. We still need to focus on some of the stuff I mentioned in the slide before, which is, progress that you're making on your product that's leading to more usage. How much more sticky are you making your product? These are leading indicators, right? What does adoption look like now? And how's the quality of this product that you're putting out? Something that we talk a lot about here is how product operations is helping product teams move towards more of the business-driven model and really focus harder on those metrics that you're seeing on the left, in addition to what they've traditionally focused on the right, because PMs are driving more bottom line versus adoption of the product only. And speaking of adoption, one of the things that we like to use here as a metric is product engagement score. We think that if you want to pick one of the best metrics, it's for product performance, that this is it. If you remember, I mentioned having a strong point of view earlier when we talked about Steve Jobs and Apple. This metric is one that we're seeing product teams set up and follow along with NPS, which has been really nice. NPS ends up being a lagging indicator, and it's a great metric. It's a great measurement of success. It tells you something. It tells you what your customers are feeling after a certain amount of time after they've used the product. So we're really trying to look not only at what their experience has been over the last X amount of months, but also, what their ongoing experience is and with your product and how much they're using it. And so this metric measures your product's adoption, stickiness, and growth over a period of time, and allows you to take action when you see one of these things change month over month with the appropriate teams. As an example, if we're seeing adoption numbers are not as high this month as it was last month, the product operations team here and the PMs end up working with product marketing to make sure that we're growing campaigns or focusing on certain features that we recently put out to make sure that they're being recognized and then also starting to be used. So think about how you can take a look at certain metrics that helps you also partner with others across the business in order to drive your goals forward. This metric will truly help you kind of have a more data-driven conversation, not just with your partners, but also with your leadership teams. And here's another type of metric, right? I mentioned NPS a little bit earlier or just now. We believe it's one of the a pretty great measure for you to use for your product team. Other things that we do are quick feedback through polls or surveys within the application. And so that helps you reach your customers really quickly and helps you just make sure that you're keeping a pulse on all the things that are going out and that you're putting out more on your day-to-day. This is just a continuation again. So there's a variety of surveys and different scales that folks use. Again, NPS, CSAT is another one for customer success teams. There's also the product market fit metric that people tend to use, and that's a good one. Helps you understand how your customer base would react if they could no longer use something or your product. So now we're going to take a look at turning data into insights. Something that we talk a lot about here at Pendo is how to take data and then further drill down a bit by segment. And so some ways you can do that are by company size or by location or industry. Depending on the business that you have, those things are really important to you. Another way to look at it is by value, right? What is a free user doing in their journey versus paid? And what does their data look like versus somebody who's been in the product for a bit? The other thing is just really using product data to slice any type of other data that you have. So NPS responses by a poll, by a role. So, what does a product manager's NPS look like versus a CSM? Or the other thing that you can do is take a look at how many active days they've been in the product and then what their overall usage data looks like. Something that we learned early on during segmentation and when we were testing our numbers out were we actually segmented users by NPS scores. And we realized that the lower scores were coming from a group of people that actually only had read-only access to a feature of the product, which explained a little bit more of the frustration that they were feeling in their lower NPS score. And again, if you think about the concept of like a free versus paid or a read-only versus full use, you can see patterns of those people and help derive more insights from their behavior if you slice it up by different segments. And another way to look at this is related, it's by cohorts. So with this, an example is you can really study how a free user interacts differently from a paid user at the time of which they started, and then what their journey ends up looking like month over month. Segmenting by size here can also show you the value that you're delivering to each of these types of users. Another thing that we recommend here is experimentation. You've got all this data, you have a point of view, you have something that you want to test. Another way for you to collect more data and then also run a test is through experimentation. And we're showing an experimentation canvas on the page here. So what we do is, you can run it through an experimentation canvas. It's a way for you to actually rally people around an idea and get different points of view in and figure out what it is you're going to test. You can also run experiments through A/B testing, simple mocks and prototypes. I mean, I've seen even like backup paper napkin work before, and just throwing something up on screen and seeing what resonates with users a bit more and help somebody get to an aha moment faster. We actually did this recently with a new dashboard that we tested. And we flashed up 2 images where people would pick one that speaks a little bit more. And then we were able to drill into that and see what role types those users were to see which of those were resonating with which role. It was quick and dirty, and it gave us what we needed, and we were able to pull forward with the rest of the build of that area. Another more costly way to do this is to test in early beta. It's a little bit more costly. It's not as quick and dirty, but you're putting code down and you're committing a little bit. But you can also allow your users to swap back and forth between the beta and the full product, or the product that you're putting out. The existing product that you have. It's a little bit more complex, but you can watch their behavior between both the new beta product and then the existing one and see sort of what conclusions you can draw from that. And so it's important to make sure that you are also mastering the human side of software. Make sure that you are listening to your customer feedback, and make sure that you're taking into account not just, hey, here's all the data from usage and here's all the things that we're using to help us make the next decision, but there's also this qualitative data that's coming from your customers that you really need to consider. And so if you think about products that we put out, like we put out a little while ago, this ability to snooze a guide. And this was really cool because it was something that we heard people wanted. It was something that we wanted to make sure we were testing accurately. So when we put it out there, we actually put a quick feedback poll out there at the same time to see if folks wanted to schedule a call to have a conversation with the product team to make sure that it's working as they believe it should work and it's meeting their needs and providing value, but also just remind them later. So again, it's kind of snoozing so that they can get access to us. And we also allow them to provide feedback directly through their CSMs, but all of this comes back to making sure that you're taking into account the human side of building software and really staying close to your customers and providing a better experience for them. And along with this is feeling that pain, right? Not just listening to your customer, but really observing them at times. So what we do at Pendo is we actually create clips from our user research team as they're going out and speaking with customers that help explain pain points with something like a 3-minute or less video to our engineering teams. And sometimes the company at large, sometimes our leadership team really likes to look at that as well. Because what it does is overall, it inspires teams to take action, from engineering wanting to build to a leader really saying, oh my gosh, super frustrated. I want this product to do so much more in this area. It builds this connection to your customers on a real deep level, and it helps us build a better product to solve their problems and to provide more value out to them. I know for sure when our engineers see these videos, they feel super compelled to take action, sometimes firsthand some of the friction that they're seeing in some of these research videos. So as a recap, make sure that you are starting with why. That's always important no matter what you're doing, but especially in product and modern software build. Determine what to measure. What is it that you're looking to make sure that you're lifting? Are you lifting an NPS? Are you lifting your PES? Are you actually trying to increase your adoption, or are you trying to reduce customer acquisition costs at the end of the day that contributes to your bottom line for your company? And then take all of that data and turn it into insights and learnings and make sure that you continue to make your product better. Keep iterating and keep learning and keep bringing that data back to your team in order to provide the next best version. And don't forget that product-led organizations need to use data to inspire and inform decisions. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope that this helped you understand a little bit more about how important data is to product-led companies and to product management in general. Bye.